Alright, so JJK Fanpara has a lot more SSRs on the JP version. We could just see, right, there's only 3 from launch here. There is, what, 3 from launch here. There is 3 from launch here, and then there is 2 from launch here, right? All the rest, these 6, then these 8, right? Then these 7, and then these 5, 6 are all new, right? So it's over 20 new units in terms of just SSRs that are new, not even counting the SRs, which I think it's like 4. So we're going to talk about the usability of them and how good they are, not necessarily how much you want to summon for them, because the previous video was really like the best units to summon for. But this one's going to be just the tier list in general. We're going to talk about the tier list that the wiki made for people who've played this game for about a year now. So let's start with DPS, because that's the ones that people really care about, and talk about all the new units mainly. Alright, so we see here there's only one unit on launch that is going to be, well, in SS up until a year later, right? JP is pretty much a year ahead if we're really looking at it. Well, we're about to reach the first annies, so that's going to be pretty hype. But this is the last thing we got, being the, where is it? Well, I guess this, but in October, the last thing we got was, well, this new Gojo, what's it called, Recollection Bear, which is cool, and then Nobara, and then Megumi. But let's talk about this. So, I pretty much remember most of the units, besides a couple, right? So, starting with hidden inventory, the main thing, I just want to show this, right, is this attack immunity. He gives himself attack immunity. 3 turns, but he starts with 2. He does not leave the battle, right? This guy does not leave the battle, which is why he's so good. And then his ult, bro, this is essentially over 7 Gojo ults in one. It's 5 hits of 1500%. Blue Gojo's ult is 1000. This is 5 hits of 1500. Then he does a debuff, and then here he gives himself attack immunity, gives himself damage, which is going to increase his damage here and crit rate, and then puts damage received reduction, which is decent considering that domains remove this, but still. And then here, this is cool. This is nice. This is actually very good. And like, bro, it's just so good. An 80% damage increase with this ult, insane. And then yeah, so he's gonna have the special damage increase. Basically, is going to allow you to get this part. And if you don't have it, then you get this, and then you're going to reapply this, and then you're going to get this. So yeah, he's going to be very good damage-wise, and just being able to stay in battle forever. Now, this Gojo is basically a nuke, okay? If we compare the two, this Gojo does 1000%. This Gojo, his ult, even if he leaves the battle, does 2000. Not even, like, considering the fact that he's increasing his damage by 70, while also increasing the enemy's damage by 10% for everyone to do that too, right? So that's really good. Now, yes, he also leaves the battle, but the thing is, because he's green, different color, and also 2000% instead of 1000, he's going to be very good. And I think they have the same stats, so it literally just doubles his damage, AoE. That's why he's so good. Now, Yuta has a heal, very good AoE, very good ult. There's not really much more you need from him. Like, this guy is able to support very well with that heal, multiple heals per battle, able to equip res reduction, AoE. His AoEs are pretty good, and then his ult is very strong, and then he has good single targets, so he will be very, very good. Gojo, we already know, doesn't take damage, does AoE damage, very good. Now, Toji, my goat. Why is he good? He has 0 cursed energy, so he could use any skill he wants whenever, which is insane. Very good HP also. Reduces crit res, then he just has a built-in 50% damage increase while having damage reduction. Okay, and then he does not get blocked, right? He's gonna remove attack immunity, right? Where is it? Or is it just in the skills? Yeah, he removes attack nullification, right? It's just so strong. It really is. And like, the damage he's gonna be doing, insane damage. Like, you could see 1500%, and then it's like, okay, whatever. But then you also got to consider built-in 50% here, and then when you perform a crit, you could get another, well, up to 25%, right? So all of these are going to make his damage just absolutely ridiculous, right? His damage is going to be very, 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 very good. Okay, very good. This Toji is insane. He's got a very similar gimmick. You see, 4 of the top units are able to use any of their skills whenever they want, right? Because their skill count is only 1, or like the curse energy count is 1, and then for Toji it's 0. So that's why they're in SS. Now, these guys have very different gimmicks. So let's start. Nobara, we already know she's just able to do very good single target damage, and then she also got adjusted, which I think nothing changed. This got damage increase, right? And then also the ult is got damage increase, so that's amazing. But not much to say there. Now, Nobara is able to put AoE nail counts, right? That's the cool thing. She's able to put AoE nail counts for one, but that's also going to allow her with her skill 3 to become an AoE afterwards, which is really cool. And it's only 5 cursed energy here, but it makes up for 50 here. But still, I like that it's 5 because you could just stack, stack, stack. And then if you get support on cursed energy, then you'll be chilling. And then this is also going to be very good, right? Damage-wise is nice. And no, I'm liking her. Now, why did they show that? Anyway, she will be doing very good damage on the skill 3 and on the ult, and just has a bit of a different gimmick with the nail count, so that's cool. This guy's all about crits and black flashes. There's not really much more to say, which is why he's good. His damage compares to a lot of these units. Same with this Nobara, but this Nobara is going to be good on mono green because she basically works off of debuffs, okay? So for example, you got someone like this Gojo or even Ghetto who's able to put debuffs, and then she is going to just do more damage up to 260%. Insane. Now, why he's good is because he has a bunch of wolves that could attack whenever alongside other units, so it's increasing your overall total damage, and then he's going to be doing just a lot of good stuff. Like, this part's nice, right? Very, very good. But his damage is just going to be good because of these extra, like, divine dogs that do extra damage, right? Now, the Nanamis are going to be good for, like, black flashes and stuff, right? So, like, they both, I'm pretty sure, yeah, both, like, have a higher chance to perform black flash, and then they're going to be good, like this Nanami especially, to crit also, and this is a guaranteed black flash, so that is really strong. Now, for this Nanami, he's basically going to be a bit more on the crit side, which I think this is why I'd rather him a bit more, because if he black flashes and crits, that's a 1.5 times 1.5, so that's going to be a multiplicative buff, which is great. And then this Maki is a nuke. Bro, her ult is literally 950 times 5. And then she increases her own damage, by the way, and then she could get a damage boost here. Like, she is literally a nuke, okay, which is why she's there. So that's it for all of those. Now, here with Yuji's, like, decent, but he's just not, like, as crazy. Like, this Yuji's better, but, you know, you shouldn't even summon on that. Now, Nekamaru, overall, nothing too crazy with himself. The break damage is good, but I'd say, like, that's his main thing. Break, 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 break. So there's not much more there. Jogo has a decent domain, but, like, you'd rather all these over him for sure. Now, Nanami is, like, okay, but, like, same thing as Itadori. There's just better, and then they give 2 Nanamis to completely power creep him in that regard, so yeah, GG. Then Junpei is basically trying to be everything at once, so it just doesn't work. Taunt, support, and DPS, and it's just meh. Now, Kamo, it's unfortunate that he's really low, but he really is basic. It's just a couple damage increases, but it's not even good damage. Then I don't even want to talk about these two. They just hurt me. They really do. They really do. So let's move on. So why are these guys on top? So Momo is basically just an improved version of the SR, where she's able to get an AoE stun here, but she's also giving everyone increased crit rate, crit damage, crit hit res on the enemies lower, and then she's increasing damage and break damage, which is very, very strong. So she's giving a bunch of damage, but it's also like, this is very good to pair with a lot of Nanamis and Itadoris. And then also she's just supporting damage-wise for everyone else, so it's very good. Yaga, we already know, very good damage, very good debuffs. Now, this Yaga is on crack, right? Because he gives everyone, every single turn, he just gives this, every single turn, without even using any skills. Insane. For one turn, but it's every single turn. So yes, you can't really stack it, but because it's every single turn, it's going to make the fact that you're debuffing on the skill 3, which is going to increase their damage received like twice, essentially, just really good. And then also decreasing the damage that they do, right? And then on the ult, increasing all enemies' damage. It's an AoE debuff, so AoE debuffs are very, very strong, and then increasing all allies damage, right? So he's going to be doing a lot of buffs, but just having this to allow himself to become more of a debuffer is just nice. Now, why is this Ghetto good? Like I said, with Nobara, this Ghetto especially is very good, because he's able to put some, like, decent stuff on, right? So here, when defeating an enemy, recovers own cursed energy by 10, okay? And he's going to do good enough damage, right? And then he's going to increase his own break damage, increasing own cursed energy, which is going to allow him to spam a bit more, right? Increasing the amount of damage that they take. And why this is good is because you're increasing it by this much, but then because Nobara is going to increase her own damage with a debuff, this is going to make this even stronger. Same thing here, right? So that's why Ghetto is going to be very good for stuff like that. He's going to be able to be a self-sustaining DPS while also helping the others, right? Which is great. Now, this Megumi, which is the incomplete domain Megumi, is able to create the domain. Well, it's going to be amazing debuffs, being able to do actually decent enough damage, but the support is just so strong, and he won't be taking damage for 4 turns. right? While the domain is up, he doesn't take damage. So this is very good, very, very good. But then he's able to do some AoE stuff too, which is absolutely amazing. But then also being able to increase the damage they take, and then increase it even further here, like a 60% increased damage taken, and then stunning, insane. Like his stuns, all that stuff, amazing. Now I'd say Inumaki should even probably go up. Like the thing is with him, he's doing more damage than the current blue Gojo, right? His ult is doing even more. Like it's doing more, and then you could get a damage increase, right? Then increasing the amount, the AoE that the enemies take, right? Which is insane. So he's debuffing while doing more damage than the current blue Gojo. And then here he's also debuffing, and then here he is going to also do an AoE. So he has a double AoE, which is great. So you could use him even as like a DPS, right? Which is so sick to me. And then he's also able to at least give himself a couple heals, which is decent. But I don't know. I'm really interested in this Inumaki. Like he seems very good. And like from what I've heard, he is very good. And I mean, this ult is very strong. His stats are a bit lower than Gojo, like about by 60 on the ult. Yes, it's Jujutsu, so about by 60, but then it's increased damage, plus puts debuffs, plus has a higher percentage, so it is insane, right? It is insane for Inumaki, for sure, for sure. Now, we could go over a couple here, right? We've already, I'm not going to go over, like, the global units. Now, Ghetto, honestly, is kind of a flop, to be honest. Like, he doesn't really do much. Like, he's basically based off of cursed energy. You need to have a shit ton, which means also to dupe him out is going to make him way better, but you don't want to dupe him out. And then when he defeats an enemy, he recovers his own cursed energy, but then it's like, what if you have another DPS, right? So it's like, I just don't like how this Ghetto's made, and he's kind of mid, right? He is kind of mid, which is a bit unfortunate. Now, this Itadori works also to, I'm pretty sure it's here. So, I feel, alright, so, yeah, this. Basically, if this happens once per battle, if an ally is below 40% HP, taunts everyone to him, then he gets damage reduction, so if he does survive, then that's great. But if he doesn't, he gets revival status, and if he does survive, then the next turn he still has this revival status. So that's why he's really good, while being able to give the person behind them extra ult gauge, and then making them take more damage. Like, he works as a pretty decent support, not the craziest, but having this like basically like almost 2 turns of living, or 1, all depending, is pretty nice in my opinion, right? Now this guy is just doing a shit ton. I'm not even gonna, okay, Gaku Ganji, that's not that bad. In my head it always sounds worse, but it's not that bad. So he's going to be doing a lot, giving Jujutsu for 3 turns, which isn't bad. But then it's going to give the alternating tuning state, which is then going to, it's going to be pretty good, where it's going to stun everyone while increasing all their damage, right? And then putting confusion on them, which is nice. And here increasing all their damage by 50%. And then also being able to decrease their ult count. So he's going to be a very good support, just debuffer support. Love to see it. Now this might, I would put her in SS. I'm not going to lie. She is very, very good. Very, very good, okay? So she's basically able to do this thing where every skill she uses change the bullet type. And then this is going to allow her to do different things. So for example, if special ammo state is active, there's a chance to delay the person, the ally selected. Well, basically, sorry, I should have explained first. The bullets are basically additional damage when an ally does an attack, okay? So, deals 80% taijutsu damage to the ally's selected enemy, delays the ally selected enemy's action for a 20% chance. And then here it's going to have a chance to increase all enemies' damage received by 30%, right? Which is insane. I do like that. So, I think with the enhanced ammo, it's on one of them, right? So, yeah, so if special ammo or enhanced ammo state is active, it's going to do that, right? So it's pretty cool. And then the ult is also going to increase, bro, look at this, 80% damage received increase. Like, Mai is going to be making them take a lot more damage, that's kind of it for like new units, right? Not really going to go over any of the other ones. And like here, right, they're decent. These like healer, right, he's able to give some decent crit, some decent support to the person behind them. He's able to keep someone from living once. She's able to stun and give damage increase, and he's able to give ult gauge. So it's decent, nothing crazy. Now here, the main things we have to go through is this one, and this one. I think this is the Shibuya Panda, I'm pretty sure. So let's start with Saki. Saki's actually really good. Her main gimmick is that when she falls below 35%, she becomes an insane DPS, getting a 180% damage increase. Then here, increasing her damage a bit. And then also, and look, she could sacrifice HP to get her to that 35% threshold. Now here, filling ult gauge, which is actually really good while having an AoE. It's not a crazy AoE, but it's decent. And then her ult could give up to a 40% damage increase, which alongside, if you use this alongside this, yeah, no, it is pretty strong. Then she gets revival status, which is huge. And then when she triggers a revival status, she gets attack modification, which means first turn she dies, second turn she can't die. Great, love to see it. And then when she falls below 35%, she gets a 50% damage reduction, which is insane. So like after she falls below 35%, it's gonna be hard to get the revival status, right? Which is just so good, right? She's gonna be able to live quite a while, in my opinion. So you do love to see it. She's gonna do good damage and all that good stuff. Now Miwa is actually kind of interesting. She's more of a counter unit that's also able to taunt, but I like her a bit less because she's like kind of half and half, where Saki's able to do damage while having like no problems because she has a revival and then she has attack nullification. But her, it's more, she's gonna be able to do good damage, and then she is also gonna be kind of like secondarily a tank, right? Nothing too crazy though to me, but like, hey, if they put her in SS, I'm gonna kind of go with it. I think her damage could be really good because of this counter. So yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. And then Panda, so this guy is last, and we could just scroll down. He gets revival status, and then he has this like Culpus count, and he can get up to 4, right? So essentially he's gonna get like decent damage. Like this is a lot of damage, by the way. 10 hits, that's 9,000%. Insane single target, and then he's able to do AoE damage too, right? So that's cool. Now then, here he's going to be able to heal himself up to 53% if he has 4 Calpus counts, which is insane, while increasing his damage. And then here reducing damage received. So he's going to be able to be pretty tanky while doing some good damage too. But I think that he's lacking a bit. Like you can see, there's not much text. There's not much going on compared to these two. So that's like kind of the main reason. Now, I don't really like talking about the other SRs because they feel kind of mid. But he's like okay, because he could give himself counter status, which is nice, I guess. But I don't know. It's like, as a tank, he's cool. It's just, I feel like he has a high chance of dying because he doesn't have like a revival status. He doesn't really get much damage reduction, but he could be okay, I guess. It's just like, I don't know. He doesn't have any damage reduction here, so yeah, it's not looking too crazy to me. But if you need something, I guess it's just, I'd rather even use this guy. So, oh, my goat. My poor goat. They gave him nothing. They gave him nothing, bro. They gave him nothing. So damage is bad. Okay, damage is bad. Very unfortunate, by the way. And then he's gonna get some extra stuff if he has the Takata-chan's guidance buff, but then even that barely does shit, right? It barely does shit. He's gonna get some damage reduction, but it's like he's not really taunting, he's not really getting revival. It's just kind of sad, man. It's crazy that every other tank in the game is better than Toto. It's just like, oof, they did not cook with them. They didn't. They really didn't. So that's kind of the tier list, right? I hope this gives you a pretty good idea of how the JP players are rating him. And I hope that I explained it pretty well for you guys. But that's going to be it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.